if your kids say, don't spend the money, don't travel alone, don't remarry, well, obviously, we're going to do all of that.
Well, of course, because what better time to start living cautiously than after 60?
Well, this is Jim. He's got a rebellious streak, a suitcase that's always half packed, and absolutely zero regrets.
And that's Steph. She's allergic to being told what to do, especially by someone she used to ground. And together, we're Unretired AF.
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Unretired AF podcast, where we're going to be talking about our kids said don't do this. We did it anyway. Big surprise there, right? But before we get started, we want to give a shout out to our subscribers. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We've gained a lot of subscribers this last week, and we're just really grateful. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
If this is your first time viewing, welcome. And if you're a return viewer, we would ask that you, if you like our show, please consider hitting that subscribe button. All right. So, what if your kids say, don't spend any money? Well, you've earned your money. They didn't earn the money. You earned it. It's not Monopoly money. It's not a game.
Right.
And, you traded decades of your life working to get it. So, you don't owe anyone to be frugal unless you actually want to be frugal.
Yes. Now, I will say that anything I say is my opinion only. If you have a
disclaimer,
if you have a different opinion about this, I get it. I totally get it. But my retirement account is not their retirement account. I worked hard for that.
Right.
For us.
Yeah.
Not for them.
Right. If they get anything, it's a bonus.
Oh, they're not getting shit.
Yes, they are. But they're not asking for it either.
Right. But
if they did, we would spend every cent of it.
Right. Your kids need to start building their own wealth, not depending on your wealth.
Right.
For their financial future.
Yeah. Well, and what if your kids are saying, don't travel alone or at all? I mean, what they need to know is that we drove and took trips before freaking GPS. Before someone was telling them,
what?
In 1 mile, prepare whatever. We had what? A Thomas guide and optimism. That's what we. That's what we had. That's it.
The orange book that was like 900 pages. And you had to find out which grid you were in.
Exactly. And you had to turn the page to the
right. But you know what? We figured it out.
Every time.
Every time.
And if we didn't, and if something happened,
we drove around in circles.
And we had a good story.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
You do not need to ask your kids permission to travel.
No.
If you have the energy to do it and you feel up to it and confident about it, do it.
Yeah. Think about what we've survived. Yeah. We've survived, I don't know where you are, but we survived a party line.
Oh my God.
We survived.
I had a party on Ines Hayes, the biggest gossip in town.
A rotary phone. Remember those? Remember when it went to push button and people lost their shit?
Because they would put the pencil in there, remember? And do it. You could just do it like that. They didn't have the same effect.
I mean, I was just sitting here thinking when the first car that I had seatbelts.
Right.
I never had a helmet when I rode my bike. I barely had a helmet when I played football.
Only kid that
it was all leather
only
back
kid
then.
that had a helmet in our neighborhood was, he was special.
The kid that
yes, that kid. Yeah, that's the only one in the helmet. None of us were in helmets.
Right.
You would have gotten laughed off the playground if you showed up on your bike with a helmet. I mean, we had the streamers going off of it, the cards with the clothespin, the banana seat. It was happening.
It was going down.
It was. Did you guys make ramps?
Oh, We made ramps. We
Oh,
we would rake people's leaves in their yard to put them out on the street to then jump the great firewall just like evil
oh my
Knievel did.
God!
Oh yeah.
I wasn't prepared for the fact you're
And let me tell you what
living on
happens.
fire.
Let me tell you what happens when you get some sort of accelerant on a rubber tire of your bicycle. Yeah, things that go boom.
Wow.
And that gets pretty slick.
No,
but
we didn't do that.
we were badass.
We were badass. So did you have mini bikes?
Yes.
I love mini bikes.
I
couldn't start it.
I had a Honda Trail 50.
I was too skinny. Trust me, I was. It's a true story. And I couldn't like jump on it to push anything. And so it died, and I had to push it back like a mile to my friend Gail's house because I couldn't jump on it and get it started.
Wow. That's crazy.
All right. Got a little sidetracked there on the if they don't want you to. It's like sometimes it seems like they don't want you to have any fun at all.
I know.
All right. The next thing, if your kids tell you don't date or remarry, it is none. Like my dad used to say all the time. I would ask him something, and he'd go, "None ya," none ya, which means none of your business. Your kids, it's none of their business about your love life. It's none of their business. You do not owe them any explanation of your dating life. And I understand if they might be dealing with some emotions if their parent died. Yeah. And you're a widow or widower. And there can also be a lot of emotions if there's a divorce. But just understand, you can honor your past while still move forward and have a future.
Absolutely.
Those issues are your kids', issues.
So, what do you do if your kids are worried about their inheritance? You don't owe anyone anything for what you've accumulated and built.
Right.
Should your loneliness protect your inheritance for them? Screw that. Yeah,
you don't have to be lonely just to make sure that their inheritance is protected.
No, get out.
And that's cruel for them to even ask that. It's not loving.
Get out and live your life.
They should want you to be happy.
They should. They should.
Well, what if your kids don't want you to downsize or move? We know that kids can often be emotionally attached to the family home. Yeah. And if you decide that you want to downsize and sell it, there can be a lot of emotional issues because they have so many memories tied up, in that. Yeah. But that's really their issue, not your issue, because you're the one that's paying the property taxes on it, that's cleaning it, that's making sure the roof is fixed, making sure everything's maintained on it, which is expensive. And I guess you could always offer to sell it to them if they want it. Yeah. And there's a lot of kids that do that. They buy their parents out of the family home.
Right. So sometimes it's monetary, and like Tav said, other times it's emotional. Yeah. But some of these kids see it as future equity. Right. To me, that's not looking out after you. That's looking out after them. Right. And again, this is my opinion, and you have your own, but, none of us are here to bankroll our kids. Right. If it works out that way and you want to be generous, more power to you.
Yeah. Well, and this is the way I look at it. Live your life the way you want to. And if there's anything left at the end, that's great. That you can leave an inheritance. But you don't owe an inheritance to your children. No. And you shouldn't live in such a way that you're not enjoying your own life and your own money. Right. I mean, it's your own damn money. Right. And if there's things that you're not doing that you want to do because you want to make sure that you can leave something for your kids, that's not good. You need to live your life. It's your life. Your kids are going to figure it out. And, I think I'll speak for myself now. I think our generation, because we were, honestly, let's just get real for a second. Because we were often neglected by our parents, I think that we, in some ways, overcompensated for that with our own kids. Yeah. And so sometimes we over coddled them or whatever. Not all the time, not everybody, but who you are if you did. Right. And and I'm gonna say I probably did. I had an only, so we have other issues, not issues, but other dynamics, going on there. But Anyway, I think you got to live your life for yourself. And if there's
Absolutely.
anything left at the end, great.
Right. So, you know,
Well, I'm going to say, if your kids say, the next thing if your kids do, was that related to this?
go ahead.
Well, I was going to move on to the next subject.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is that okay? You
Yep.
finished up on the don't downsize?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The next thing our kids might try and say is, don't eat that. Don't drink that. All of a sudden, they're worse than the freaking doctor. You fed them for 18 years. You know, you're not going to let them try and tell you what to eat or not eat, or you got to be part of their clean plate club or whatever. Eat all the butter and bacon you want.
You know, I think about my two boys when they were coming up. They ate friggin' dirt.
Right.
If we took them to the playground, they ate dirt and bugs. You know, now they're lecturing us what to eat.
Exactly.
We're grown and we can eat what they want.
Right. We can eat what we want.
What we want. What did I say? What they want.
Yeah.
They can eat what they want too.
But you said we can eat what they want.
I know. We're gonna eat what we want.
And they can eat what they want. They can eat all the freaking kale and avocado toast that they can cram down their gob hole.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So I guess the takeaway from this episode.
We massacred this.
Sorry. No, we didn't massacre.
I know.
We just went off track a little bit. But you know what? This is our show. It's real, and we just tell it how it is for us. We're not suggesting that anybody else.
Who remembers, if anybody out there is a hot rodder, who remembers how good your car ran with leaded gas?
Right.
You know?
Right. No, it's so true. So true. All right.
Sorry.
All right. No, that's good. That's good. You gave me a look. All right. The takeaway from today's episode is that our kids may need to help us as we age, but they certainly do not get to become our parents.
Exactly. Because we always need to remind them who brought them into this world, and we can also tell them who can take them out.
That's right. And our generation is badass enough to do it, to tell them that, you know. And besides, we don't have to tell them. They already know.
We have a comment section. If you have any comments about this episode, please feel free to drop it in there. We'd love to hear if you have any experience in any of this.
Yeah.
Or if you have thoughts.
How you disobeyed your kids.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it.
If you think you need to bankroll your kid and you know, you eat Melba toast and breadsticks the rest of your life, let us hear about it.
I like breadstick.
I like lasagna.
I like breadstick. I like cheese.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
In advance for your comments.
Yes. And if you've enjoyed today's episode and you'd like to see more of our uproarious comments in your feed, please subscribe to our channel. We put out new content every Monday through Friday, and we are not slowing down.
And neither should you.
And together, we're Unretired AF.